Hello Healthinistas, and welcome to my channel 50 something. This channel is for the overall well-being of people 50 and older. But don't worry, if you're in your teens, 20s, 30s, and 40s, you can still apply the content. Today I want to get a little bit away from the health foods and my life as a kidney donor, put that on break for a little bit because I'm traveling. And I want to tell you about my traveling day, and I call it alternative facts all day long. Anyway, I was traveling, and my plane was supposed to leave at 7:35 in the morning. So I decided to drive myself so that I'd be able to get a vehicle back because my husband would be working to the airport. So I drive myself to the airport, and you gotta do economy parking and get on the shuttle, and I'm running behind. I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, oh, I didn't give myself enough time. I'm telling this guy at the shuttle stop, I'm telling him, oh my goodness, I didn't give myself enough time. Plane leaves at 7:35. It is now 7:10. I just parked the car. I don't have enough time. Get on the shuttle, get to the gate. Ran to my gate. First you gotta go through TSA. You gotta take your shoes off. They gotta put you through the X-ray machine, and then my head lights up. Really? So then they gotta feel through my hair, right? Some of you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, so after they do all that, I get to the gate. Now I only have about 15 minutes, right? But lo and behold, when I get to the gate, I look up, and on the monitor it says that the plane departure has been delayed. Hallelujah! So now instead of leaving at 7:35, is leaving at 7:55. So I felt good about that. I hadn't eaten anything, was starving. So I go to buy a bottle of water at the gate. Now, they won't allow you to bring anything that's large, any fluids, liquids that are large, right, to the gate. And so, but they'll be more than happy to sell you a bottle of water. It was a 12-ounce bottle of water for $3.50. I looked at the lady, I was like, excuse me? Because I know I could get 24 bottles of water for that on sale. So I was like, excuse me? And silly me, I was gonna reach and try to find one that maybe was about $2. And she looked at me, she goes, ma'am, that is the cheapest one. Okay, fine. I went ahead, bought the water, and then finally we were boarding, got on the plane, you put your seatbelt on, they go through the spiel, and then we start backing out from the gate. Well, we get to the runway and we stop. And the pilot comes on and says, folks, sorry to tell you, we have been advised that there's bad weather in Chicago, which is where we're connecting. And so we're just gonna have to wait for 15 minutes. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me bad weather in Chicago with snowing, poor visibility was gonna be done and be over, and we'll be able to fly in 15 minutes? Alternative fact number one. Didn't believe that for a minute. So 15 minutes we sit there, pilot comes back. Sorry folks, we're gonna have to go back to the gate. We've been told that we're not gonna have any more information for an hour. So here we go, back to the gate. We go sit. So now we have an hour. They're not gonna let us off. They're not gonna give us the little peanuts and drinks because we haven't taken off. They're still assessing the situation. So we start. This is the beginning of our wait. Now while we're waiting, people are missing connecting flights. So pilot comes on again. For those of you that are going to sunny Florida, you can get off the plane now because we are going to route you through Atlanta. Really? When you were little, and if you ever were playing and people were picking teams, and then they picked all the teams, and then you were left? Right. That's how it felt. All the people going to sunny Florida got to get off the plane, Then those of us that were going to cooler places still had to stay on the plane. So we're waiting. An hour goes by. An hour and a half goes by. Alternative fact number 2. It didn't take an hour. It took more than an hour. So then finally, I was really debating on getting off because I'm still at home. So I can go, and I still have my car in economy. I can go get my car. I can go home. I can do this another day because I didn't want to be on the plane for 14 hours. So yeah, about an hour and 45 minutes later, pilot comes on. All right, folks, we've been given the all clear. We're going to be able to go to Chicago. At this time, I'm looking at my watch because I have a connecting flight at 10:25 in Chicago. So we fly to Chicago. We land at Chicago at 10:20. So we get to, like I said, we got to Chicago at 10:20 a.m. Remember, my connecting flight is 10:25. We get off, and guess what? They have taken off. They did not wait for us at all. It was the same airline. So we make it to customer service. We're like, we missed our flight. Now I'm traveling by myself, but by this time I've made a friend across the aisle from me. We each had our own window seat, and we didn't have anybody beside us in the 2 seats because it wasn't a really full flight. So I made this friend. Her name's Karen. By the way, I digress, but all my friends that I've known, that I still have in my life, that are Karens, are good people. They're excellent friends. So anyway, I made a friend called Karen. She's old, a little bit older than I am. And we were both going to the same place. So we were walking together. We went to customer service, asked, and first we both went separately and ate because we hadn't connected then. I didn't know, she got off the plane before I did, so I didn't know where she was going. We went ahead and I ate. Just in case you're interested, I had 2 tacos with a side of black beans and some rice. Anyway, it's not bad for airport food. It wasn't bad. I was kind of stuffed, you know. It was cheating day because it really wasn't extremely healthy, but I made healthier choices. So anyway, so I connect with her later, and I go to the customer service, and she had also gone to customer service, and we were told, oh, you guys are going to be on standby at on the 2:40 flight. Now we just got there at 10:20, right? Now we have to wait 4 hours before we can even get on another flight, and not even guaranteed it's a standby. Then they also said, but if you don't get on the 2:40 flight, you can go standby on the 9:55 p.m. flight. PM, really? But here's the thing. We have you confirmed on a flight the next day. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me you want me to stay or go get a hotel because I'm not guaranteed on 2 flights? So I was like, well, wait a minute. My luggage was supposed to be transferred onto that 10:25 plane. But I didn't get here till 10:20. The plane had already left by the time we deplaned. So where's my luggage and when is it going to get there? Well, ma'am, your luggage will go on the 2:40 flight. So whenever you get to your destination, it'll be there. Okay. So we were sitting there waiting. An hour goes by. And then I just don't feel right. So I go ask another customer service person. I said, how long is this waiting list for 2:40? Because really, if it's too long and I'm not going to make it, I need to make alternative plans. Okay, so by this time, I'm about 4.5 hours away from my destination. So she looked at me and she said, ma'am, that list is too long. You will not make the 2:40. Seriously? So why couldn't that first customer service person, why couldn't they have told me that I wasn't going to be on that 2:40 flight and that the wait list, the standby list was too long? All right. So now we got to make alternative arrangements. So we find an airline that's going 2 hours from my destination. So I contact my family member and she decides, yes, I'll come pick you up 2 hours away. I have the best family. Anyway, so Karen, I told her, I said, if you want to go with me, my sister definitely will also pick you up because she's picking me up since we're going in the same area. So we made that arrangements. They gave us our new boarding passes. We gladly turned in our boarding passes from the next day. Anyway, we go sit at the new gate for our new flight. Now, that new flight was supposed to leave at 2:15. When we get there, it says they're leaving at 3:15. So now it's an hour delay. All right. So we're sitting there, we're looking at our phones, working on laptops. I check my email and I get a notification. That flight has now been delayed to 4:05. Really? So I'm texting back and forth to my sister. I'm telling her, okay, I'm going to be later than what I said I would be because she's setting out to go 2 hours away to pick me up. So then we're sitting there. Okay, so now it's at 4:05 is what they said. All right, so I'm sitting there and then another notification comes in and says, now we're leaving at 3:50. Well, now this is a little bit better. All right, so they decide to start boarding when it was time to go. So they started boarding and it started to snow. And the snow was blowing everywhere and it was sticking on everything, including the plane. We get seated and the pilot comes on, this new pilot comes on and says, folks, there's going to be a slight delay because the plane needs to be de-iced. It needs to be be de-iced by a level 1 and level 4 de-icer. So we sit in this plane while they de-ice the plane and we just watch and sit. Finally, don't get me wrong, I'd rather be safe than sorry, but don't tell me that I'm going to be leaving at 2:15 originally and then give me that alternative fact again and I don't leave till, well, at this point, it was about 4:10, 4:15. By the time they finished de-icing and we actually started taxiing, it was almost 4:30. Anyway, we finally make it to our destination, the new destination. My sister picks us up. Karen is very appreciative that, a stranger who now knows her will do this for her because she needed to get home to a sick relative. So we drop her off first, and then by this time, remember, we're 2 hours away. So by the time we made it back, it was dark. So I go to the airport. My sister and we go to the airport. I go check on my bag because you told me it'll be on the 2:40 flight. So by this time, it should be there. This is now nighttime. I go in. There's nobody at the kiosk. So I ask somebody and they go, knock on the door. So I knock, no answer. So I knock harder. And then finally somebody comes out and they check. And I'm told, oh, sorry, your bag did not make it on the 2:40 flight. Really? So I travel very light. I don't do a carry-on. I just have my bag, my laptop. That's it. My purse and my laptop. So all of my clothes, everything is on that bag in my suitcase. And you tell me it's not coming yet? Oh, well, it might be put on the 9:55 flight. And this is 9:55 Chicago time. So where I was actually later, an hour later. So that means that it wouldn't be coming in until close to midnight. So we get back in my sister's car. We go to her house. I eat something, sitting there thinking, okay, I may have to this is my family member. So she gave me all new things, new everything just for that night. Okay, so by this time, I'm exhausted. I've eaten something, though, drank something, relaxing at my sister's house. 12:20 a.m. We get a call. My bag, my suitcase, finally arrived. And this gentleman was going to be off duty at 1 a.m. And then there's going to be somebody else coming in at 4. I'm not taking the chance waiting for the next day so that when I go in, somebody can tell me, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. No, we're going. So my sister and I agreed. We went back to the airport and we got my bag and brought it back. And boy, were we both exhausted. So that was my day, full of alternative facts, aka lies. And, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, still got to do something good for somebody, help someone out. And as always, doing something is better than nothing. But in this case, doing something to help someone is definitely better than just being upset about the whole situation.